So we come to order. Today is Tuesday, March 25th, 2025, 6 p.m. Tonight is the Board of Health meeting here tonight. This is the roll call present. Christian Roman Ramirez, Chairman.
Charles Paul Serene, co-chair.
James E. LaQueer. What?
Okay, according to the, any additions, deletions at this time?
Yes, I believe Rick has one septic upgrade.
Yep, 4.5 Old Battery Road, so that'll go under 1.6.
Okay. Okay, so for the appointments, before we continue, I wanted to, announce that, the chairman of the Board of Health has open, office hours here at Town Hall meeting. It's going to be on Wednesdays from 8:30 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. It's gonna be per appointment. It's not gonna be via Zoom, it's gonna be in person. And the appointments will be on 15 minutes increments, for more information, it's on the website, or calling the Board of Health office, for arranging, appointments. Here at the town hall meeting, at town hall. Other than that, this is open for the public, so, it's gonna be Wednesdays from 8:30 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. Let's go with appointments, hearings. We have 1.3, 128 Turner Road, septic tank and pump chamber.
So this house was constructed in 2016. And this septic tank here and this leaching area were installed as part of the construction. They're proposing to build a detached two-car garage with a bathroom and a workshop up above it. And in order to do that, they're proposing to put in a septic tank, 2,500 gallon, function, but I guess not. So 2,500 gallon, 2 compartment septic tank that will gravity feed over to the sewer line and then feed out to the distribution box. It is in full compliance with your regs and with Title V. It's not an increase in flow because they're not adding any bedroom, and the permit does say it can't be used as a bedroom. But it would just be to serve that one bathroom.
Where's the property, the house? Here in the map.
Right here.
That's here, right?
So Turner Road, driveway coming in, well out in the back, house and side.
Okay. So it's gonna be on the back part, this is the back part of the house, right? Oh,
No, it's the front.
the front, okay.
Yeah, this is Turner Road, so.
Any questions from our chairman, our members here?
I make a motion to accept the sewage disposal system design for 128 Turner Road here.
Who seconds it?
I second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Have 1.5 Shirley, no, 1 Depot Street Extension new construction condominiums.
Off the paper there.
So this is
This Depot Street there.
No.
yep, so the Townsend house is kind of right over
Yeah.
in this area there. coming down to Depot Street, and then this is Depot Street Extension. There was a house that was right about here that's since been torn down. So they're proposing 5 condos will be age restricted. And each building is gonna have its own leaching area, but each unit will have its own tank. So this will be one unit that'll be a 2-bedroom, 2,500 gallon, 2-compartment septic tank, 2 leaching trenches, gravity feds. Units 2 and 3, each one will have its own 2,500 gallon, 2-compartment septic tank. That'll gravity feed to 2 leaching trenches. And then say here, each unit will have its own tank that'll gravity feed the trenches.
Any questions?
No, looks pretty good.
I make a motion to accept the sewage disposal system design for 1 Depot Street extension.
I second that.
And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
So there's 3 permits because it's 1 for each system.
Okay.
So when you sign it, just make sure that they're on top of each other because they're carbon copies.
Thank you, folks.
You gonna live in one of these or?
I
With all his money, he can stay home. Yeah,
kinda like the farm life better.
I remember Kevin invented this for crazy.
Farm life is better.
I don't want to picture that.
But there's gonna be a place for everyone.
Yeah.
But we don't provide for
Good
it.
idea. Thank you.
We have 1.7.
See these bills?
1.5. Oh, 1.5. Sure. Oh, Charlie Road, lot 1, new construction, I'm sorry.
Oh, thank God, no trouble when you're with me.
So, this is the subdivision A&R plan. So Shirley Road's here, the existing house, on the lots number 23, it sits kind of right in the middle. And we're looking at lot 1 that was subdivided off of this property. So it's new construction.
This is lot 1,
Yep.
right? Okay.
So there are quite a few wetlands, so conservation will deal with that piece, but Shirley Road's here, driveway comes in, they've got a wetland crossing here. And it is served by town water, so it shows that line going all the way down the driveway. And then proposed house out here. There is a 2,500 gallon, 2-compartment septic tank. And then 4 leaching trenches to handle it, gravity fed. There are no variances required. It's in full compliance with your regs and with the state regs.
So they're getting the water from
From the town.
basically, okay. Any questions from here?
I don't see any.
No?
All right.
Can I get a motion?
What is the address there?
It's just Shirley Road.
Shirley Road. I.
Why no
Motion
number?
to,
We'll get a house number once Carla submits it to the assessor's office, so they won't
Okay.
actually get a permit till we get a house number from the assessor.
Okay.
so I call a motion to approve the septic system for Shirley Road.
I'll second that.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
What happened to the clock in here?
Clock hasn't been here in a long time.
Yeah, budget fence.
On your funny.
Or batteries, we had to keep changing.
We don't need to sign anything for,
Sorry, there's that.
We sure want a signature.
The one that got added under 1.6, so 4.5 Old Battery Road. It's an existing house, it's kind of like a backlot. So Old Battery Road's actually out here, there's another house that sits right in front of it. And then their driveway continues on to here. There's a pretty big wetland system that goes out to Main Street right here. So the goal was kind of to stay away from that and stay away from the well. So the 100-foot offset off of the wetlands is right here. System's right on the edge of that. And then the existing well is here with a 100-foot radius through right here. So they're proposing a 2,500 gallon 2-compartment septic tank that'll run under the driveway. So they've got it sleeved under there. And then it'll gravity feed to this 15 by 31 leaching field.
All right.
Any questions, concerns, comments?
And then there is one variance they're asking for, so we only dug one hole out there, because this is kind of right in the same location as the existing system. We weren't too sure how far it extended, but the testing matched what they had seen for that system went in as well.
Okay.
And what was the birth rate?
2 minutes an inch.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, sandy material.
All right.
Can I get a motion for the sewage disposal system design on Old Battery Road?
I call for a motion for 4.5 Old Battery Road for
With the variance.
with the variance for approval.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. Benny, anything else, Rick?
It's all the permits I have.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
He's gonna stick around for a little bit.
Oh, that's good. Okay. And now we open for public hearing continuation for the styrofoam reduction in Townsend.
Need a motion to open the meeting now.
I propose a motion for opening a meeting for public hearing continuation on styrofoam reduction in Townsend.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so where you are with the styrofoam reduction is we did have a Survey Monkey that was put out on social media and on the website. We had 65 responses. There was 2 questions. Do you want a styrofoam reduction in Townsend? 63% of people were for it and 44% of people were against it. And then the second question was, do you want to be notified of any upcoming emails? And we didn't ask people to put their email address because we wanted it to be kept confidential so they felt safe to answer the questions. And that was split 48-52.
52 being.
52 being, yes, I want to hear about it, and 48% saying, no, I don't want to hear about it.
All right.
When I hand delivered all the retailers that were listed on the food permit that Rick had sent out, there was 3 establishments that I couldn't reach because they were closed at the time, but as far as I know, all of them are not using styrofoam. There was only one establishment that I found that was using styrofoam. And he was a little upset because it is an increase, and he voiced his opinion. I was hoping that I would have written something written, or he would show up today, but he did not. So that is where the benchmarking, as we could call it, to poll what the residents and what the retailers had to say about it. But
Okay.
all the retailers seem to have been phased out of styrofoam.
Yeah.
So where are we going with this?
Well, we have, I believe it was Karen who approached me, right, Karen?
Andrew Shepherd originally.
Andrew Shepherd had originally proposed it in 2019, and then COVID hit, so we took it off the agenda because we just had a lot of other things that we were dealing with. And the restaurants were trying to survive without having to serve the public, so going to them at a time and saying, well, I'm sorry, you have to take away styrofoam, really didn't seem like a good thing to do at the time. And since then, most of the people have phased out, I believe, because they knew that it was coming. And they wanted to be environmentally friendly.
Okay.
So, public comment, I'm sure, would be helpful. And then after public comment, there is a draft regulation, which you have. And if you would like to read through it a little bit and go to the next meeting, or we could listen to public comment and then you could ask for the draft regulation to go to legal counsel, because at some point it is gonna have to go to legal counsel.
All right. I propose to hear comments from the public, if you can state your name and what your address is, and we can hear comments. I don't know if there's any people online that wants to comment too. They just have to raise their hand on Zoom and we will recognize them, okay? Wish to comment? Yes?
I know I mentioned before that I think a lot of the places have transitioned. The problem now is at least two that I think, even out the past week, are now having black clamshell foldable boxes. They're plastic, they're not recyclable. So it's true. So that's now, that kind of furthers the issue where saving, the styrofoam that's not recyclable, but now we're going with black clamshells. So what I would, if you do choose to be in favor of this, I would like to have a clause in there that it would have to be recyclable containers per Townsend recycled. And there's one place in town that when you get the to-go meals, they're in the black plastic. But when you're eating at the establishment, they still give you styrofoam to take home with whatever is left on your round plate.
Any comments?
Jim,
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
There's a new technology out it's a black, it's a composite material. I've seen it in Vicksburg. Excuse me. And it's biodegradable. It's it is something that's the incoming trend, in my opinion, of what's going to be for the future, so that we can put these things in landfills and they're going to be able to be degradable over the years. Have you seen that yet? Okay, it's a very nice container. It reminds me of cardboard, essentially, with black. And this is what they're using in a couple of establishments that I go to in Fitchburg. And I'm gonna have to pursue that some more, because I'll ask the owners where they get it and what the name of it is. And I appreciate everything that's going on as far as all this styrofoam stuff. You're on the right page.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm just curious, Jim, on that. I have one of those containers at home, and I mentioned to the woman that owns the house where I rent, I said, I'd like to try putting this in the compost and see how long it takes to disintegrate. And she said no, because she has read, I guess, and found online that they don't disintegrate the way they're supposed to. So I would really like to know what you know.
Unfortunately, I can't disclose the name of the places at this time, but for our next meeting, I'll see if I can get one of the containers to bring it in, so we can all look at it and review it and see
Well,
what we think.
I've saved mine because I thought, well, I might try it in one of my clients' compost piles to see, because I'm curious if they're saying they're compostable.
And I'm 100% in agreement with what you're presenting tonight, because I think it's the times of the future. So, well, I'll do my homework, and for the next meeting, I'll attempt to have one of those. So we can look at it and see what it is and take it from there.
I'd be very curious. I had another question. I'm sorry I didn't hear. For the restaurant owner that's very concerned about this. Will this be phased in? Should you decide to go?
It's gonna be.
There would have to be a time frame so that they can get rid of all the stock they have and be able to purchase the new stock to go forward, I would imagine.
It will be unfair on us to just
You
go
can't,
on a set date and that's it. No, I think this is gonna be phased, and as it develops, we can talk a little bit more about a protocol coming up on how to face
Yeah.
this. If the board finally gets to approve the protocol on this. Okay, anybody else? Anybody online? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I just concur. I think it's a great idea with both of your comments and Jim's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody online that wish to comment on this matter? I assume no, so, okay. I propose that we don't vote on this draft as of yet,
Okay.
just to bring about, so that Jim can bring more information about what he proposed and probably continue on our next meeting, on the topic of the styrofoam reduction here in Townsend.
How long do you need, Jim? Do you think that you can get, our next meeting is the 8th that's 2 weeks, or we could.
I think I can do that.
You think you can do it?
I can do that, yeah.
Okay,
So then you could continue the hearing.
on the 8th, yes, and I think that probably we could be ready to vote on this draft and have it submitted to town council, and then we can figure out in the meeting if we finally get approved, how it's gonna be the process of implementing this.
Rick, do you have any questions or thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we'll take a look at it. So the discussion I remember last time had a lot to do with like, what retailers or restaurants would be subject to it. And so there was some discussion about, what are we really looking at? Takeout containers? Are we looking at retailers that sell styrofoam cups and plates and things like that? Hannaford's had brought up that they get prepackaged foods in styrofoam containers. So just making sure that the regs address what you want them to and not what you don't want them to. And taking a look at those things.
Yes,
I just would like to ask Rick, are there other communities that have regulations like this in our
I
area?
could ask around. I mean, we cover 16 towns, I believe, in the district. So I could ask and see if any of the other towns have them. I'm not aware of it, but they might, and I just don't know.
I work in Concord and I think Concord might do that.
Okay.
yes, go ahead.
2 comments. We've started having food trucks come in. So I don't know if that's gonna be something that you're considering as well. So
And what was that again,
food trucks,
food truck? Okay. You're talking about at the band concerts and stuff like that?
well, they're not the band concerts, but some of the weekend events have food trucks.
Okay,
So.
and
And the other question I have for you, the whole thing about the trash. Yes, your containers would be compostable. But I'm thinking more, I would like recyclable containers since that doesn't cost us money. We just throw it in the bin, whereas if we're putting compostable, that's going into our trash. So that's another thing I love the compostable because obviously it disappears. But if we can actually get recyclable ones, you're gonna get recycled to make whatever,
Because it's my thought that having both instead, because not restricting on only plastics and compost, but having the use of both plastic and the ones that are able to disintegrate on compost. I mean, I don't think we should go only one route, but including those because I mean, we don't have, we opened the meeting for any business to talk about this but I think we should keep in mind, yes, the plastics and the ones that are able to decompose, decompose.
Can certainly put that into the regulations.
It's gonna take a little period of time to get all this stuff to organize itself and be part of the trend of the future. But this is what it's all coming to because it has to happen. Has to happen. We can't continue to put all this stuff in landfills that's just being self-destructive for all of us. So yes, I agree with all this stuff. So.
Exclude unprepared foods such as alcohol, fish, meat, eggs.
Talk louder, Paul. They wanna hear you.
Well, it does include here, that does not include unprepared foods such as uncooked raw meats, fish, eggs, unless provider is consuming without further food prep. So that would exclude Hannaford's issue with the food containers coming in with the food, unprepared foods. So it excludes that, so.
And we can't change that. That's gonna be something that's gonna take time, and in time, I'm sure the supermarkets will get in trend, but it's not gonna happen overnight.
Yeah. Eggs still come in those little styrofoam containers too, so.
Yeah, and they
I
used to
was
be
thinking that was gonna
cardboard.
be a problem.
They used to be
It
cardboard.
used to be, it was cheaper,
Yeah.
I'm sure the phone.
Right.
Everything that has degenerated over the, throw it away and put it in the landfill is now regenerating itself to come back in to be recyclable. And that's something that many of us have lived through. Okay, in the past 20 years, this whole thing has gone upside down, now it's going the other way again. So I'm glad I'm my age because I got to witness it all.
Okay,
So,
bar this for now, is that?
You need a motion to continue the hearing to April 8th.
I propose a motion to continue with the public hearing on the styrofoam reduction in Townsend.
Very
Second,
bright, I will second that.
all in favor?
Uh,
Well,
Okay.
I need a motion for the next one too, right?
You do not.
Okay,
You are just gonna talk about what's going on with the Shaw's trash proposal.
this is, before that.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, this is just a discussion. So it's not.
Got the discussion on the first and second generation of rodent site.
Yes. You're up, Jennifer.
Where would I sit? Like, on the company chair. I worked all day, so this is good. I'm Jennifer Pettit.
Okay.
I used to be on the Conservation Commission for a number of years. Lived in town, moved to New Hampshire, decided to move back to town. So I'm here, and I just want to start out by saying I think everyone's really pleased to see our bald eagles that have returned. I go out one day during migration, I think I counted 45 to 50 bald eagles, Squanicook, on the Squanicook River. The concern is that second generation and first generation rodenticides are killing our everything, well, literally everything from turtles and snakes up to bald eagles. That includes foxes, coyotes, possums, anything that would eat a rodent or scavenge a dead rodent. They found rodenticides in otters, thinking, and it may have been in Lowell, where they found a rodent and ate it or scavenged a dead rodent.
What is this being used for, this poison?
They're used in the bait boxes. We have them around town hall.
We do,
The
okay.
ones at town hall are a first generation rodenticide called, I'm blanking on the name, Ditrac all-weather blocks.
Okay,
And the black boxes or the gray boxes, you have gray boxes out here, and there's gray boxes at the library, which at the library, they shouldn't be on the ground, they should be out of the reach of children. They're either side of the door. I believe that's in the regulations. And what they do is these, the Ditrac bait blocks have a hole, they're like a square cylinder, I think about this long, they have a hole in the middle and they hang on a bar inside those boxes. I mean, you could go out and get one and look at it.
okay.
I've talked to Montechusett Home Care, and they've said that I've asked about a product called Rat X or Mouse X, which does not have anticoagulant first or second generation in it and doesn't cause secondary poisoning. But the comment was they didn't think that it came in a bar where it could hang on a bar. So the concern was the pellets could fall out of the box. I contacted someone, I'll be talking about the Harvard Law School petition to suspend the registration of anticoagulants who's involved in this petition. And he said, yes, they do. You can get that product that won't cause secondary killing. They come in like wafers with a holder. They look from the picture about this big. You don't have any samples of the wafers.
Not the
do you?
wafers, I have the other, the birth control
You have the pellets.
pellets.
Yeah, okay, that's different. What I thought I'd start out is just reading a letter that I wrote to the Board of Selectmen, sort of covering it, and then I had some information. Tragically, bald eagles are dying in Massachusetts from mouse and rat poisons. We've had four bald eagles in Massachusetts die that have been tested. A dead bald eagle was found in 2023, December 17th of 2023 in the Nashua River. But when it was taken and tested, it had bird flu. They think it died of bird flu. So if the state tests it and it's bird flu, they won't test any further. They won't test the rodenticides. Other, like Cape Ann Wild Bird Rescue, will test the rodenticides. So it could have been bird flu, but it could also be rodenticides. And so we're wondering with these animals whether they are weakened by rodenticide. Foxes are weakened and they get terrible cases of mange when they have rodenticides. Anyway, sidetrack, sorry. Rodents ingest second generation rodenticides. We refer to them as SAGARs, SGARS, and will leave the black or gray bait boxes put out by pest control companies. The poison rodents can then be devoured by raptors, owls and hawks, foxes, opossums, even otters and die, as well as dogs and cats. Dr. Maureen Murray, Assistant Director of Tufts Wildlife Clinic, has written and lectured about the dangers of SAGARs to our wildlife for years. She has found high levels of rodenticide in 95% of examined birds of prey at the Tufts Wildlife Clinic. That may be up to 100% now. This was a number of years ago. The rodenticide that is in the bait boxes around the towns and municipal buildings is called Ditrac bait blocks, and it contains the powerful active ingredient. Now, this I am not positive of, so I should be careful if I say this. One of the people working on this lawsuit said that Brody-Facum, the strongest single feeding anticoagulant on the market today, And actually, I found some of that when I did some research at belllabs.com. This product is extremely toxic to mammals, birds, and other wildlife. That was www.3epa.gov. The National Pesticide Information Center, NPIC at ace.orst.edu has in-depth information on Brodifalcum and the 3 other SAGARs. These are second-generation rodenticides. I will not pronounce these correctly. Difenacum, bromadiolone, and difenthialone. And you can get a copy of the letter from the selectmen there, but on file up there. This is just my handwritten one. There are alternatives to SAGARs. Use a pest control company that offers integrated pest management, exclusion, and trapping. Promote natural predators. One owl can eat 1,000 to 3,000 rodents per year. I actually did more research on that, and one owl can eat 1,000 to 6,000 rodents per year. So it doesn't make sense to kill off our predators that are around our buildings to draw in. And what I understand is these bait boxes will draw mice and rats to them. So you're killing off your main predators and you're bringing them towards your building and you're just spreading more poison. Traps and snap traps or electronic traps, not glue traps, another hazard to wildlife. Rat X, Mouse X, Rat Rid, and Rat Rid supposedly have no risk of secondary kill. I hope you will request Montechusett Pest Control not to use first or second generation rodenticides, and will get in writing what method they will be using. Taking care of our precious pets and wildlife is critically important. Together we can make a difference. Thank you for your consideration of this matter, Jennifer Pettit. And I gave this to the selectmen February 2nd, 2024. Some of my I have a whole bunch of resources: SafeRodentControl.org, Save Arlington Wildlife, Mass Audubon Rescue Raptors Campaign, Raptors Are the Solution. And we started a local group called Save Nashua, Neshoba Valley Wildlife. Okay. So there's a group of us from Groton, Pepperell, and Townsend, and actually Air. One woman from Acton, so there's a number of us working on this.
Okay.
And this is a listing of the chemicals on the front that I was trying to pronounce, probably so incorrectly. And Rick, I have a copy for you again.
I have a question to my board members. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm new in this, I've been in Townsend since 2021, but, and around here, the letter was for the Board of Selectmen to avoid using it on municipal property or on the whole town?
Well, it would be great, we'd have to do a lot more work to regulate, I think, in the whole town, unless the Board of Health could do that. This was to the selectmen for municipal properties. They apparently approved the contract with, at this point, Montechusett Pest Control. So as far as the whole town, I don't know if you as the Board of Health can do that.
I'm just asking because, I mean, town-wise, an effort like that I think it takes a lot of education around it, and people have to be educated on that. But my question is, what would be the options if municipal wise, that is not, I know you mentioned that it's not first and second generation rodenticides. But what will be an effective option that doesn't harm our nature and at the same time will be effective towards it? Because we as the board, we have to be alert on reducing infestation and all these things. So that will be my question regarding that.
Well, she did give several
Example.
things that are options.
There are
Safer
other
options,
options. I don't know that I brought you a list of them. Here, there are other options listed in here, and I am going to leave you the Harvard Law School. This is a petition to suspend the registrations of anticoagulant rodenticide products in Massachusetts. I can read through some of this. I waded through this the other night. There is a lot of information in here. Any of your questions about that should be answered here.
Okay.
And oftentimes in here, half the page, there's like 56 pages, but it lists the resources, the scientific studies.
Are they
that-
pursuing this?
Yes, this
Okay.
was May 13th, 2024.
Okay, all right.
So this is actively being worked on, but it takes so long for stuff to go through. And if you, I at one point thought I was going to be a wildlife rehabber. And I did the courses and things like that and found it was much more than I had time for with my busy schedule. But I do follow wildlife rehabber sites, Newhouse Wildlife Rehabilitators. This is a friend who's come. And it is so disturbing to see the number of animals, the hawks that come in to Cape Ann, wild bird rehabilitators. And I would, while I'm thinking of it, I would like to ask that if anyone listening, or if you could spread the word, if anyone finds a dead hawk, a dead owl, anything like that, I would like to know about it, because I will try and take it to a site that can get them tested.
Okay.
Or talk to see if we can do that. I found a dead great horned owl over on the Adams property, the sand pit. That is, you go over the river and you go down Elm Circle, and it used to be a big sand pit.
All right.
And there was a dead great horned owl just sort of laying there. I thought, that's weird. So I looked and all through, there was no injury. There was no, I thought maybe someone shot it. There were no bullet wounds, nothing.
Okay.
It just was laying there dead, and it was a younger owl. I wish at the time I had known about rodenticides, but I didn't.
Okay.
I suspect it probably died of rodenticide.
Okay.
So I am going to leave this copy with you.
All right.
Rick, I don't know if you'd like a copy, but you could have copies made here.
Yeah, if you want to give it to Carla, then I'm sure she could
She
either
could
scan it
get
in
you
and distribute
copies.
it to us, or.
All right, that would be a good idea.
Any questions or comments? Yes?
I'd just like to briefly make a comment. You had asked Jennifer about some of the alternatives. We're kind of working with the Earth Day theme of the Save the Owls, and I've done just a little bit of my own research. I have a small farm in town, and so rodents can be an issue. Some of the educational materials we have that we were gonna be presenting at the Earth Day, just to help people find alternative solutions to any kind of rodenticides, poisons or anything. The product, she talked about the Radex. It's not a anticoagulant rodenticide. It basically is a formula that it's a gluten, calcium that basically dehydrates them, and it doesn't harm wildlife or anyone you know. But this is, what she talked about is this was only available in a pellet form, and it's hard for them to use it in those bait boxes. But,
But it's not only.
yeah, so they
available
can get wafers. It
You
is
can get
available. This is, more of a household, version of it. There's also, I mean, they can use, CO2 cartridges that they put into like tunnels and suffocate them. There's a lot of options that they can do. I also have, looked at some of the things that households can do, you know.
Yeah.
There's recipes for, plaster of Paris and things like that that can harden their
You
digestive
can
tract as
use,
well.
powdered, potatoes, like potato flakes
Yeah.
with mixing it with
Things like
something.
Yeah, and that's kind of been my focus, is more of the household, that coming from that perspective. But also, like Jennifer said, for the commercial person, that might be something, and I don't know if you want me to leave that with you.
Yes,
Please.
Anyway, that was just my little.
thank
You
you.
also
Feedback.
mentioned something about birth control.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So there's another company that makes, pellets, and I don't know if any of the commercial companies use them, but this is about to be my experiment on my own farm.
Okay.
She talked about the bait boxes that have the little spikes in them.
Yeah.
So these pellets, basically, they come in and they eat them, and then they can't reproduce. This has to be ongoing, just like the poison.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna harm any of the other animals. All it does is sterilize the rats that
A
ingest
little
it.
more humane.
But other animals can't be sterilized by this, and if they eat the rat, it's no harm. So it's another option. I don't know that pest companies are interested in this or not, but I'm about to try it in my property.
Very good.
Okay, so thank you for that.
I was gonna read something from the Neshoba Associated Boards of Health. They have a thing on rodent smart continued on organizing your neighbors and friends. And then in the very bottom paragraph, they say, if you are concerned with the rodent population on your property, you can hire a licensed pest management professional. Request to see their Massachusetts license, who incorporates integrated pest management practices. Some rodent poisons, rodenticides, can have devastating effects on the local ecosystem and wildlife and pose danger to children and pets. So it's important to explore all options prior to choosing rodenticide.
Okay.
Let me ask a question, Rick, regarding that, about the first and second generation rodent sites. Does the Neshoba Neshoba Board of Health has any resources or something
So
like that, if
think-
you're aware of?
I think Jenna from our office, I'm sure you get a bunch of emails from, she was probably the one that put that together. She does a pretty good job of like getting material that people might be interested in and getting it out on our website so they can find it. I can talk to her to see if she's done any, more digging, to see if she's got more information that might be useful to you guys to making a decision. I think, the things that the board has to kind of consider are, one, especially since COVID, there's been an increase in rat populations in the area. And so one of the things that I would want to look at, and you probably would do, is those other alternatives. How effective are they in taking care of rat populations, and are they equivalent to the rodenticides in their effectiveness? The other would be, are there any towns or cities that have adopted any regulations prohibiting these? Because typically Townsend is not a town that's gonna kind of be the first one to put a reg out there. Occasionally regulations are challenged, and the legal budget that you guys have to work with might not be enough to kind of fight something like that in court. So it'd be nice to get a set of regulations that's been vetted. We can provide to town council, and they can tell us that it looks like, it would be a good set of regulations that the board could consider. I also believe that there's an extra step to adopting regulations concerning pesticides, and I believe it involves the state pesticides board. So we'd want to do a little bit of additional research to figure out whether that's true or not. I think it's in the Mass General laws.
Rick, I think she was asking us to vote on just municipalities.
So
As the town of Townsend, we continue,
At this point, yeah.
we stop using them.
Yeah.
We go to our Neshoba,
Board of Health.
well, no, the
It'd be
Neshoba
the
Pest
select-
Control, and tell them we're no longer using these in our municipalities, and they would adjust and use something else. I don't think we're setting a regulation at this
Yeah, so
point.
you could
The
make a,
state would have to happen at the state level.
you could make a request to Montechusett to stop using them.
Okay,
Ultimately, the select board is the one that signs that contract.
yeah,
And so if they wanted to put in a stipulation that they couldn't use these types of rodenticides, they would have to do that. You could also write a letter to the select board, you're requesting the same. Your regulations would be a little bit more involved and probably, it would take some time to develop something like that.
all right,
But if that's kind of the initial request and the board wanted to, it would be more of a request to stop using them as opposed to a mandate to stop using them.
all right, that makes sense.
Start.
It's a start, yeah, absolutely.
There was a response, I believe, from one of the selectmen, the past chairman of the selectmen, that Montechusett had responded that an owl would have to eat more than 6 rodents a day, and they didn't believe that. They were sort of saying they didn't expect that an owl would eat more than 6 rodents a day. In our research, we found that owls can eat up to 12 rodents per day. The other issue is the reason second generation rodenticides are so effective is that when a rat eats a second generation rodenticide, it doesn't die right away. It can live up to 3 to, I think, one place said 6 days, another place said 9 days. So they keep eating, and they're sort of bioaccumulating all this poison. So it's not like one rat went in and ate one feeding of poison, then was eaten by an owl. So they're running around loaded with these this rodenticide in their system.
Okay.
And owls, when they feed their babies, their young can often feed them, more than 6 mice a day. Of course, it would depend probably as whether it's a large rat or whether it's a small mouse. That makes a big difference. This is something, I don't know if I included this in your.
We have it here. This,
I thought, may I read it?
yes.
Okay. Second generation anticoagulant rodenticides, SAGARs, a lethal threat to birds of prey, mammals, pets, and may sicken children. National and regional groups are mobilizing to educate the public about serious threats from SAGARs and its lethal poisoning of non-target wildlife. Because they are so unsafe, SAGAR sales to individuals was banned by the federal government in 2014. Bald eagles, hawks, owls, and mammals en masse are dying from internal hemorrhaging after eating SAGARs treated rodents. In 2022, 265 tons of SAGARs were sold to exterminating companies in Massachusetts. This is from the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. That's where that statistic is from. Wildlife clinics and wildlife rehabilitators are seeing SAGAR's deadly effects. Tufts Wildlife Clinic has found it in 100% of red-tailed hawks and 95% of bald eagles that they've treated. SAGARs are killing our most effective rodent exterminators or birds of prey, foxes, coyotes, bobcat, and other predators. One barred owl consumes approximately one barred owl consumes approximately 4,000 mice and 1,000 rats annually. SAGARs persist. I find this really alarming, that SAGARs persist in soil and water. In soil, it breaks down to 45 to 78% in 21 days. In water, it remains at 50% potency after 392 days. And this is from the National Pesticide Information Center. One of the people with Save Lexington Wildlife said that she believes there's statistics saying it maintains its potency in water even longer than 392 days. Our water treatment plant has a filter for rodenticide, the new one. I would be interested in knowing what other water treatment plants, do older plants catch rodenticides? Or is it just our newer plants putting in filter for rodenticides? And if we're filtering rodenticides out of our water, what does that mean for people who are on blood thinners? Not only what does it mean for any of us, but especially at risk, I would think, people on blood thinners. The MSPCA Angel reports treating dozens of cats and dogs annually for SAGARs. We can get, should anyone want the statistics, I'm sure we could get those. 25,549 children were sickened by rodent poison from 1999 to 2003, and that's the Center for Disease Control. We urge the Board of Health to advocate for safe rodent control and to urge town government, businesses, and individuals to question their commercial rodent control providers. They should inquire about the use of SAGARs and ask to see what companies are using in gate boxes. SAGARs are usually bright blue or green. Insisting exterminators do not use SAGARs but follow integrated pest management practices proven to be most effective. Some of these sources were massaudubon.org, raptorsarethesolution.org, savearlingtonwildlife.org, saferodentcontrol.org. Gary Menon in talkingbirds.com has been incredibly helpful. SaveLexingtonWildlife.org and SaveNeshoba-Valley-Wildlife.org.
Just to close the discussion on this, Rick, are we the board or Carla, anybody can give me some light on this? Can we, at the end, the Board of Selectmen has the last say on whoever they contract for extermination, correct?
I believe so. right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure, but typically the select board in town
Sign
are
contracts.
responsible for your contract.
Any contract.
Because, the most that the board can do, and correct me if we're wrong, is to inquire and recommend the Board of Selectmen to look for another alternatives less harmful. But, other than that, we just can't enforce that to the Board of Selectmen, but, we can definitely, request by writing, the people's concern about it. I don't know, what did we think about?
I agree, we can write a letter supporting you on this subject, and then I think you should present to them, have you?
Another letter.
The current select board.
Okay.
They would need to hear this, and I think they'd be on board because,
I would wait till
They've
after
been
the
on the
election too, so you have the 3 board members.
or the 3, okay.
Yeah, and it's been so crazy with the different budget issues that I really haven't gone to the Board of Selectmen. I figured I'd gone to this new Board of Selectmen. I figured I'd come and speak with you first because I haven't talked.
But I think if you bring a petition in writing to us, I think we will be able to support the petition as board, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and then present it to the select board.
And we can present it
Okay.
to the select board, with your petition signed. And I don't know if it will give more weight having, other citizens signing your letter too. And so that we can present, to the Board of Selectmen, as a board, our recommendations for that. But at the end, they're the ones who make the decision
They decide.
on the city, on the town, but we can, if you write a letter, to the Board of Selectmen, we can endorse it and recommend, right? And we can recommend, second, but that way, your findings, on this and present it to the Board of Selectmen and have it, by writing. And we can definitely put that request on, once she has the letter online, correct? So that people can see it, or wait on a response
You
for.
can certainly do that, yes,
Do what?
can put it online.
We can put it online, the letter with our endorsement and present it to the Board of Selectmen, and whichever they respond, we wait in writing for them, so. That's the most that we're able to do on.
And I believe Veronica was on the Conservation Commission at one point. So, wasn't she?
Was she?
Veronica?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so she's Veronica, one of the, what is she?
Yeah, one of the.
Ronnie,
boards that I-
yeah,
Yeah, she was on the Conservation Commission at
Yes.
that point.
yeah, I was
Big
on,
For a few years, yeah.
For a few years, so
I
you've
was
got,
on one time with her.
so there you go, you have an in right there with her, so.
Okay.
And when should we expect her writing to us? Can we?
Whenever you can get the information to us, we'll put it back on the agenda,
Okay.
okay?
Well, I will try. I did want to add one more thing. There's towns that have regulations concerning sagars.
Okay,
The town of Arlington, the town of Lexington,
okay.
Newbury, Lowell, Brookline, Newton, and Grafton,
Okay.
just
Grafton,
recently
okay.
restricted. So
Okay,
more and more communities are beginning to do
very
this.
interesting, okay,
So,
thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your
well, I
presentation.
appreciate your time. I
And-
can leave this with
Yes,
you
please.
also. I'm gonna keep this for Earth Day.
Okay.
You
thank
did quite a presentation.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll wait for your letter so that we can endorse it and as a board, present, the community's concerns about it.
Okay, when do you meet again?
We meet on April.
And the 22nd.
So April 8th. See what I can do.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we close the discussion, for the first and second generation rodent sites.
Sure, you don't need a motion, it's just a discussion.
Okay.
Let's go about,
Rick, are you all set?
And
Okay,
Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
guys.
thank you, good
see you
night.
next week.
We go to 1.9, Shaw's contract proposal. So, when was the meeting that we had with the Board of Selectmen? Oh, we were all together on that meeting, just for the public. The board had moved forward on that time with the recommendation of the proposed, trash contract that we as board had recommended. However, there's been a back and forth with the budget situation going on, and my understanding is that there's gonna be a town hall meeting before the town election, correct?
That's what they talked about, but I haven't seen anything yet. I heard something about the, excuse me, 14th or the 15th around April. It's gonna be at night
That's a town hall meeting to
Yes.
approve what's
to
the,
go over the budget, because right now it's just preliminary. They don't have enough information to tell you exactly where the $625,000 is going.
so right now we're kind of on the air regarding the trash contract, so I don't think there's much an update from what they said to us was that they were gonna move forward with the recommendation of the Board of Health, but at this point, because of what had transpired on that town hall meeting, we had a cut and the Board of Health and other departments had cuts in order to keep the town hall functioning, so other than that, I don't think we have any other updates regarding the trash contract, so. That's gonna be an ongoing thing, so, any questions, comments? Okay, let's go to 1.10 invoices.
Invoices, we now have a beautiful cover sheet, so you don't have to sign each bill. You've got some travel, you've got some Earth Day expenses,
We have
you've
our
got some
best.
staples, and
Yes.
there's your vests.
Thank you.
And I'm a little concerned about the quality of them, but the one size fits all, I think it fits me tight. So I'm not really sure. I think a lot of people are probably gonna be tying them around their waist or something, or using as headbands.
They're open in the front, right?
They do, they're Velcro, so you can still wear it and just, it's not tight. So those are the invoices. You also have your minutes that are attached, and they are not January, they are February. So you have two sets of minutes. You have February 11th and February 25th. So if you'd like to review those, that would be great.
Do we have to submit a motion to approve them or just sign them?
Or you can just sign them. We don't need motions, we just need a signature.
Okay,
Earth Day and the townwide cleanup is proceeding accordingly. I secured the solar signs
Okay,
for the rabies clinic,
all right, thank you.
for Earth Day and for the townwide cleanup. I delivered 90% of the supplies to the library. We're not gonna start advertising the townwide cleanup until the 1st of April because we don't wanna make it too late.
Okay,
So, and the solar signs will actually go up, I think it was the 19th. It was like 5 days right before, and it's actually still advertised on the 15th. So, but we'll have voicemail, we'll have the website, we'll have the cable channel, you'll have the solar signs, and you'll have social media, so it will be very well advertised.
and my question is the organization about the streets, and because we voted that the board was gonna take one area to clean up, so how, that's not.
What will happen is the sign up sheet will go up into the library on April 1st, as
Okay.
people start signing up their areas as it comes down. We're meeting on the 8th. I really won't have probably, I'll have a little bit of an idea on the 8th, but you do have 2 weeks because it's Tuesday through Friday for the trash, so you've got the week of the 15th and then you've got the week of the 22nd. So we'll see what everyone signed up for and then we'll talk then, and we'll just go through emails.
okay. Who's supplying the bags for the cleanup?
You are. Earth Day,
Oh, okay, yeah.
as.
We are.
Okay.
No, you supply the vests. Previous years, it's been t-shirts.
Okay,
You supply the grabbers, which I think are super important for keeping the people bending over and possibly cutting themselves or getting hurt or poison
Okay.
ivy, things like that.
all right,
You provide those, so, and Shaw's does the biggest, they pick up all the scratch for nothing.
okay, so we don't have to use purple bags?
No, you have the green bags.
Green bags.
One more thing, I know that in one of the meetings transpired that, reaching out the correctional facility.
Did it today.
You did it? So what do we have about that?
Nobody knows who the correct person is. So I was joking around with the director of volunteer services because I thought that was a good shot. Looking at all the lists, I'm like, well, it's a volunteer service. They're gonna volunteer to clean the streets. So he said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not the right person. I said, well, I took a shot. He said, you took a damn good shot.
Probably get-
I would have gone with you too. So they know about it. They're just getting the right person in touch with me. And he did say that it was something that they probably would do.
Okay,
So.
all right.
So that's an ongoing thing, just to get the correct person then.
What's Rick's last name?
Metcalf.
Metcalf. He put it together for the old bank out front. They redid that. He brought in the workers from the prison and
Oh.
redid that.
Okay, yeah.
And all the town picked up was lunch. That was it.
Rick Cassini did that.
Oh, that was Rick
Okay.
Cassini, okay.
Okay, thank you, because I was thinking,
Not Metcalf.
Rick
Metcalf was
Cassini
gonna do
did that.
We have a comment, yes, go ahead.
Yes, did you call the state or the county? Cause both of them have road crews that come out. Did you call the state or the county?
I called
Corrections or
the
Middlesex
state because I couldn't find Middlesex County.
Okay.
I Googled it for a while
I'll work on that
and
for
nothing
you.
came up.
I'll probably get the
It
same one.
came up with the Bill Ricker prison
Yeah.
is what it came up with,
Yeah, that's Middlesex County.
but that's just one little prison.
Yeah, but that's the only prison, I think, in this district.
Concord is closed.
That's state.
Yeah, but there's Shirley, so that's why I went to the state. I started off at mass.gov.
I'll probably be able to get it for you too.
Okay, that'd be great. I think Larry will probably find something, but we're on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but Derek will get it.
And so we covered 1.12, Earth Day 426 and townwide cleanup 415, 425. Before, for our next meeting, we have at 4/8 well repair proposals, Weston and Sampson. Food permit updates and 422 fees for the tobacco and recycling center.
You've also included the styrofoam will be continued to the 4/8 meeting. We might not need food permit updates. Everything seems to be going really well.
Okay.
All right.
Permits are coming in really, inspections are coming in great.
Okay.
Before we end the meeting, I wanted to mention something about the recycling center, the compost. I don't know how feasible we are able to add the compost. I don't know, working with compost here in Townsend, I mean, I was thinking probably, I don't know if either we could sell the compost from what is recycled, I don't know, just to get a sense.
We're gonna talk about that when we get into fees for tobacco in the recycling center.
Okay.
So we can delve into that on the 22nd. Right now, what we have is we have the leaves and the yard waste that people bring to the recycling center. The last time that we had to get rid of the debris, it depends on the weather actually, and how many limbs come down, because you're collecting all the streets and all the storm debris from the cemeteries, all over the roads and whatnot, so it's not just the residents. But we actually, Kevin Smith paid us a good deal of money to haul all that yard waste away a couple of years ago. Because it was really good compost.
Okay.
We did look at selling it. But the selectmen advised against it because of liability. How are you gonna regulate it? Are you gonna have it by truckload? Are you gonna have it by buckets? What happens if somebody gets hurt? So there was a little bit of that.
Do we have equipment to load and unload or no?
Well, we have a little skid steer.
Little skid.
And we were giving away the wood chips. We actually chipped the landfill debris and then separated the wood chips from the actual soil, and then we gave away the wood chips for free. And sometimes one of my employees would be all day, that was his job all day, was giving people the wood chips.
Okay.
So it wasn't really economical for us because I lost an employee that could have been assisting customers, but he was on the skid steer filling up everybody's back truck bed with wood chips.
All right.
But it got rid of it for free. So
Okay.
there's always ways that we can improve and ways that we can look at things. Once we figure out what happens with the trash, I would like to explore with Black Earth Compost where they have the metal bins where people can bring their food scraps to help alleviate the purple bag fee. So if they wanted to compost, and a certain number of people need to sign up, but it's a green metal bin and it has one of those scan codes. So it's like years ago when you used to put the quarter in and then the newspaper thing would open and you'd grab your newspaper. Same thing, but you have to have your phone, you scan it, the thing pops up, the food scraps go in, then it closes, which helps alleviate the animals, because that was the other thing. What are we gonna do? Where are we gonna keep this food scrap? And then we could pay grant money to get rid of the food scraps, and the people would sign up on their own, they'd pay for the service on their own, wouldn't have anything to do with the town. The only thing that we would have to do is pay to dispose of it. And you could use grant money to do that. But I don't think that it's feasible to talk about any of this until we find out what's going on with trash.
Right. Okay.
Yes,
I just want to say many, many years ago, when I first moved to Townsend, we had nothing but grass and field. And I went to the landfill and I got some of the leaf compost. I mean, if you managed it as a landscaper, I agree, you have to sort of manage what's going in. And I got a truckload or two and put, about 4 inches on top of newspapers over the grass. And it was the best garden bed I had on my whole property.
Yep.
So it really is great.
Yeah. And we've got to, and the other thing is that you've got to turn the compost, the leaves and everything, you've got to aerate it. So you've got to make sure the highway department will come down and do that for me occasionally, every 12 to 18 months. I'll say, hey, when you guys get a minute, you want to go toss it around all those leaves?
so I think that, I think that's something that we should consider that, but I hope that all the financial stuff here with Townsend we can have some clarity, because we just it's kind of uncertain, so. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Oh,
I just want to make one more comment. I made a comment the last meeting, I'm gonna make another comment this meeting. I will be retiring as of election time. I'm not gonna run for the board again, so I'm going to be retiring
Okay.
after all the 24 years I've served.
Are you sure it's 24?
No,
I am.
you are? Is it 24, Colin?
It's 24.
Yeah.
You started in 2001.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna retire, and if you can't fill my position, I will sit temporarily until it does get filled.
Okay.
So
okay,
That's good to
I
know.
don't want-
Thank you.
I don't wanna leave the board stranded,
All right.
but it's time for me to relax.
thank you very much. Can I get a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, 7:16 PM.